What is up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Two Game Podcast. This is episode 147. I am Matt Primo, joined by Chris Norman.
What's up, everybody?
My brother from another mother, Christian Valencia. So we are back, and this week we are here to discuss a couple big things. College football 25 just released on the 19th. I've been playing a shit ton of that, and so has Chris. So it is finally time to discuss the game that we have been missing for it feels like eternity, but it's been like 11 years. And then the back half of the show, we're going to be talking about, I can't stress this enough, the most anticipated games for 2024, but legitimately it's not very many games on the back half of the schedule for this year. So we're going to be talking about the games that kind of strikes our fancy. But before we jump into a playlist, couple things that we're going to be changing on the podcast here for the near future to see how it works. One, we're going to cut out music. We're not going to be talking about music anymore. But we're also going to be doing one episode a month. We're going to narrow it down to one episode a month, and then probably about 1 to 2, like 10 to 15 minute segments each week. Also, description below. Links to all of our social media accounts, our Patreon. We would greatly appreciate it if you went there, like, subscribe, follow. Really, really helps us out. So please go do that. But without further ado, let's just fucking jump into our playlist, guys. It's been a month. It's been a month since we've had another episode. I have narrowed my watch list down to just a handful of things, okay? So I don't feel like I need to talk about every single Friday the 13th movie that I fucking watched.
No.
my phone's at 73%, man. I don't think we have time for that.
No. Definitely not.
So, Christian, what have you been watching?
So I've been finishing up Reincarnated as a Slime on season 3. Moonlit Fantasy, finished that season up. Catching up on some Demon Slayer. Looks fantastic.
What pisses me off about Demon Slayer is the season ends and then they start releasing the dub.
Yep. That's what they've been doing here lately, and I don't like it. It's aggravating.
I mean, it's usually like 4 weeks behind, something like that.
Is the full sub season out already?
Yes.
Sub,
I
yes.
didn't realize that. Yeah, that is trash.
No, because I saw they released the season finale, and I was like, ooh, it's time to fucking watch some Demon Slayer, motherfuckers. And I go on there, and it's only like 2 episodes dubbed. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Nope, that's duty.
That is duty.
I've waited this long. I'm just going to wait for it to finish, and then I'm going to binge watch it.
I don't blame you.
So I heard the season's not very good.
It's boring, but it has some aspects of it that are decent.
Yeah, I'm on the dubbed, and I think I just watched the 5th episode, if I'm remembering right, 4th or 5th, and it's like you told us before they even released it. You can tell it's build up, but I'm enjoying it. You're getting to see different sides of the Hashira that I didn't know until now. So it's good. It's just not as good as it has been. But
no, not at all.
My least favorite arc for a reason.
I mean, yeah, it's everything you said pretty much, but I'm still enjoying it.
Indeed. Tower of God came out with season 2, which is
awesome.
Most anticipated for me because I've read some of the mangas. Man's savage. That man's a fucking savage. Just saying.
I believe you.
And
the show's so good.
It's so good.
It's so good.
Wistoria finally dropped. I read the mangas that are out so far. I think it's like 8 mangas so far. Wistoria, Wand and Sword. Chef's kiss. So good. So fucking good. And then I'm going to start watching some Fairy Tail today, the 100-Year Quest, because episode 3 is out. Subbed. Not done.
It already started dropping?
Oh, yeah.
Oh shit, yeah. I thought it was coming out later this year.
You haven't watched any of it at all?
No, I have yet to. I was waiting because I wanted to start binging it, and I didn't want to just watch episode to episode because that would piss me off.
Well, bring lube.
Ooh.
Yeah?
Ooh.
No, not because of anything in the show. I just meant because it's so fucking good.
I
was
like, I haven't heard you say anything about it, man. I was like, goddamn.
You have me intrigued here.
No. It's still fairy tale. It's PG-13, but my God, is it good?
Oh,
copied and pasted the manga so far.
That's awesome. I didn't read the manga, unfortunately. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've been watching here lately.
Chris, what about you?
Let's see. Watch the entire series of Black Sails on a recommendation from a friend. It's if Pirates of the Caribbean wasn't a Disney movie and it had aspects of Game of Thrones in it. So It was pretty good. 4 full seasons.
You kind of got me intrigued by that.
Yeah, it's real good, dude. Not gonna lie, it's very good. I'm not gonna say anything else about it because that's all you really need to know. It's Game of Thrones with pirates, pretty much. The Boys just finished the season finale, and
yes,
I can't even talk about this show without simply pointing out just how fucking wild The Boys is. It is a roller coaster ride that everybody needs to enjoy, but not around their children. It is so terrible, but it's so entertaining.
Dude, I love The Boys, and
it's kind of awesome.
I'm gonna end up doing a season 4 review, just kind of overall of the episodes. And guys, I'm gonna have the segments here. There's little chapters. Just go ahead and skip to the next chapter. We're gonna be talking about The Boys for a second. Full spoilers. Christian, have you watched The Boys all the way through?
Okay. Enough to where I don't care, but I'll still watch it.
Okay. So, dude, what was it, like episode 4 when he walks into the sauna and the dude is just human centipeding himself?
Yes.
Dude, I was like, what in the fuck?
What's going on right now? Like, I'm disgusted yet intrigued.
Right. And the fucking sound design on that was impeccable.
Yeah, well, that is actually, of all the things that could have gone through my mind in that moment, the first thing was, wow, they really nailed the sound effect there.
He did, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that show is fucking crazy. And I don't know how you feel about the season 4 overall. I mean, it's definitely not as good as all the others, but when you think about it, this is just a setup for the final season.
I was going to say, this is this season of Demon Slayer. That's all it is. It's setting up for next year.
Yeah.
You know?
And nothing really happens plot-wise. It's more just character development. But I mean, I love those characters so much that I don't even give a shit.
It's so wild. So wild. So entertaining. Oh my God. I laugh my ass off every time something terrible happens. It's like, I know how bad it is, but it's so funny. I can't not.
And then you think to yourself, like, how did they even fucking come up with this? How did you even think about this?
My thing is, like, what was it? The beginning of season 3 where the guy, like, reverse Ant-Man'd someone?
Yes.
I thought, all right, how do you beat that as far as a what the fuck just happened moment? And then we get the sauna episode this year, and I'm like, all right, you did it. You beat it. All right. You know?
And then the flying cows and goats.
Mm-hmm.
Or sheep, whatever the fuck they were. I was like, bro,
of all people, you should know the difference.
Hey, Chris is from the same area. Fuck him.
My statement stands.
I've never raised sheep, but I've raised goats and cows, unfortunately.
Chris is like, I've had my fair share of goat.
Yes. Oh, I will never be within 100 yards of a goat again, per court order.
Yeah, man, Boys is fucking good. That's good.
So good. That's about the only 2 like shows I've been watching. I've been watching a shitload of anime. I celebrate Anna Mondays, where any show that I'm watching on a week-to-week basis, I don't watch during the week. So on Mondays, I can just knock out 5 episodes at a time, and that's pretty awesome. My Hero, Date A Live, Seventh Prince, Demon Slayer. Also finished Moonlit Fantasy. Second season somehow was even better than the first to me, the first season of that show was so prime that I was immediately enamored and surprised by that.
Dude, the fucking when they start going to war, dude, that was like peak right there.
Oh yeah, like the literal moment where they started to. Yeah,
he's like, I need y'all to get everybody. I'm like, what are we doing?
Oh yeah,
fantastic.
You know, I was like, yep, shit about to get wrecked. It's like when they write an OP character, sometimes it bores me because I'm like, yeah, I've seen this before, done this, but not him, dude. They wrote him so well that you still like you know he's OP, but he has it's verbalized that he has certain limits, but he always just they write new and creative ways for him to like not really surpass them, but kind of cheat around them. Like it's so good. It's written so well.
I liked when he met with the goddess and just how he just fucking demeaned her the whole time. Like he pretty much just like walked up and slapped her in the face with it repeatedly.
Yes.
And she just took it.
She had no choice. She had no choice. Yes, the blackmail of the goddess was prime. But yes, I haven't watched all three because I will wait for the dubs week to week against my better judgment. But the voice cast for Fairy Tail is one of the best things about the show, so I'm gonna do it. The first episode is exactly what the first two chapters of the first manga were. Literally word for word, but with the Fairy Tail music and animation. So it has 20 minutes in, it's everything I hoped it would be. So we're real pumped about that going forward.
Do they still have the wows? Because that is key.
Wow. Yes. Yes. There are a couple VA changes, but I haven't noticed it being anybody that it's going to piss you off. I think Levy got replaced, and I think not Makarov, one of the other older guys in the guild, but it's not anybody of note because I can't remember the dude's name now. So other than that, everything's the same.
That's fair.
As long as Jeremy Lee's in it.
Yep. And
that's all that matters.
And Jamie Murchie.
Anybody else can be gone.
I heard Lucy talk once. I was like, that's good. And then I heard Kana talk once, and I was like, all right, we're fine.
We're fine. We're good.
We're fine.
Good.
We got Rhea Sanasana. That's all we needed.
I don't have to fucking riot.
That's it for me, though.
Well, I've been watching a shit ton of movies. I'm trying to, because this year for October we're doing horror in review. We're doing slasher films. So obviously there are some franchises out there that have like 10 fucking movies. So I'm starting early.
Sure.
I watched through the entire Chucky series, excluding the remake. Huge Chucky fan. I fucking love the Chucky series, excluding Seed of Chucky. That movie can go fuck itself. I fucking hated that movie. Jesus fucking Christ. I haven't hated a movie that much in a long time. It was tough. It was tough to get through that.
I remember literally nothing about that movie. I don't know. When you say Seed of Chucky, it makes me think of like those tiny little fucking troll dolls when we were kids that had like the neon colored spiky hair. I'm like, I bet that's what a Chucky kid would look like.
That's fair.
No, so it comes right after Bride of Chucky, and they end up having a baby, obviously, and he's conflicted with who he is. Like, he doesn't want to be a killer. He doesn't want his parents to be killers, but they also don't know whether he's a boy or a girl, so they fight about that the entire episode. So he goes by the name Glenn and Glenda. Or not the episode, but the entire movie. And it's just like the worst fucking humor in the entire series. It's legitimately one of the worst movies that I've ever watched. I fucking can't stand that movie. So I would highly recommend not watching it if you are a fan of the Chucky series. But every other Chucky movie, it's great. I love all the other Chucky movies. I was curious to know how I would feel about the series, because when they started going from like horror to like straight comedy with a little bit of horror, I was curious how I feel about that. But I love it.
When did this movie come out?
Seed of Chucky came out
2000 something,
like 10, 12, something like that. I could be wrong.
I don't know. I'm trying to process everything you just said, and part of me is like, who thought Chucky just got married? Let's give them a child, and then give it a gender identity crisis. That'll make for good entertainment.
It was ahead of its time. I'll leave it at that. It's ahead of its time in that regard.
That's fair.
So yeah, love the Chucky series for the most part, except that one fucking movie. I watched Exuma, which I did a review on Exuma. Y'all check that out on TikTok or our YouTube or surfing the stream for like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that shit. Very, very good South Korean horror movie. Very, very good. Might not be one of my favorite movies of the year. And then I went and watched Twisters. So I watched the OG movie. And then I saw Twisters in theaters. And guys, it was everything that I fucking hoped it would be. Twisters is fucking great. You should go see it in theaters. And I keep making this comment because because I know Disney is listening to us because, you know, we're very popular and shit like that.
Yeah, of course.
But the female character in Twisters, Disney, Lucasfilm, I'm looking at you. I'm going to say it again. That's how you write a female character, okay? A badass female character that people care about. Just saying. Not the name of Ray or whatever the fuck her name was in The Acolyte and shit like that. That's how you make a good female character. Go watch Twisters. Watch Longlegs, which has Nick Cage in it. Also did a review for that one. Fucking one of my favorite movies of the year. Great fucking horror movie. And then I started watching the Friday the 13th movies, and I want to slash myself because I'm already fucking tired of it 4 movies in. I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna finish that series. Friday the 13th is a tough watch. And then I watched the OG Captain America movie, First Avenger. I'm gonna review that this week. And how do you feel about that, Christian? The first Captain America movie.
The very first one that came out?
Yes.
The
one with Red Skull.
Yeah. I can tell you honestly, it has grown on me. In the beginning, I hated every fucking minute of it, and I wanted to stab everybody in the fucking face for watching it, because I don't see Captain America dancing like I'm a pretty little girl. Especially during a war. But, you know, I digress on that matter. I've watched it probably 20 times now. Because, you know, it comes on TV all the time. And usually it comes on TV when I'm at the firehouse, and there's nothing else to do. So I watch it.
I mean, I can think of a couple other things you could do, sir.
Not there.
You go to the shower.
Not there. It requires.
So I kind of had the same. I kind of had the same exact opinions about it. I kind of just hated that movie, and then I decided to rewatch the trilogy. So I'm gonna review the trilogy, and I liked it a lot more this time around. I mean, the second half of that movie still sucks, but the first half is fucking great.
I wonder if it just, at this point, if it just has to do with, you know, how it turns out. Like, not that specific movie, but you know what that did to lead to who Captain America became. So maybe you just appreciate it more.
Like, retroactively like it. I could probably agree with that.
I mean, that's a shot in the dark, man. I haven't seen the first Captain America movie in like a decade, so...
Yeah, I've seen it. This is probably my 3rd, maybe 4th time to watch it, because I usually just skip over it because I really just dislike that movie. But this time I'm like, no, it's. I mean, don't get me wrong. This is mid-tier Marvel.
Oh yeah, all day.
Like I don't want to oversell this, but it's a lot better than what I remember it to be.
Yeah, I agree.
Actually, I think it was the inverse of what I just said. I just think it's probably that Marvel sucks so bad now that you appreciate that shit that you thought sucked back then.
So true. So true.
You know, you're fucking right. You know, some movies are out there that you just retroactively, like if they come out with a second movie, it makes you like the first movie a little more, which I'm very curious. I watched the Strangers Chapter 1 last week. So there will be a review on that for Patreon this week, and then it'll come out later the next week. Chapter 1 fucking sucks, but maybe Chapter 2, because they're doing a trilogy, maybe it makes Chapter 1 better. I doubt it. But, you know, movies are weird, man. Everything's a trilogy nowadays.
Indeed.
All right. I know Christian has not played this.
Nope.
Chris, we have waited 11 years to do this segment. Okay, I know we've only been a podcast for like 4 years, but we have waited, which feels like our entire lives, to have this segment on the podcast, and that is College Football 25 has finally fucking released.
Yes, it indeed has. And can you imagine how pissed off we would have been in 2014 if we knew the next title we were going to get was going to be called College Football 25?
Right? This is bullshit.
Yeah. But it's here, and it's, I haven't played it enough to know that it's everything I hoped it would be, but I already know I was right to have my hopes up. It's, the nostalgia's real from the bat. And dude, I'm just doing the damn thing like I did when I was a teenager. You know, getting that scholarship, winning that Heisman, winning that natty. It's pretty fucking awesome.
All right, so I kind of want to break this segment up into two things. Okay, one, nostalgia. Two, real life. All right, because as soon as I started playing this game, when I first got it, I ended up. And I know you're going to fucking hate me, Chris. I'm a weak man. I have no integrity. I have no willpower. I ended up buying the early access for $30 extra, and I fucking started playing it. I'm not going to
say anything about that. You made that decision, and you have to live with it. So
I do.
I don't need to
and
rub
I felt dirty. I felt ashamed. Okay, I don't need anybody else to make me feel ashamed. I felt the shame all myself. So, initially playing the game, when I first sat down and played it, my thoughts were, this is everything that I wanted this to be. Everything. Like, this is fucking perfect. This is great. Everything that they kind of hyped this game up to be, with the, like the entertainment aspect of the game, with like the stadiums, the fans in the stadiums, the music, all that. Correct. I was like, this is fucking it's better than what I had hoped it to be. And then you play it for about 3 days, and then that nostalgia starts to wear off a little bit, and then you start realizing some of the issues that the game has.
They exist, for sure.
They do exist. This is not a perfect game, by any means. NCAA 14, I would say it's a perfect game. Perfect game. Now, when you put this one right next to it, you're like, well, fuck. I mean, now that I have all these bells and whistles in 25, maybe it's not so perfect. But for this time, that was a perfect game. I don't think you could have made 14 any better in
not
2013.
In 2013, no. Definitely not. No.
So, College Football 25, putting the nostalgia away, okay? And then we'll talk about our game that we played together, or 2 games that we played together.
3
games, whatever.
Sounds like you lost.
No, he didn't.
Oh
no, sir. I won all 3 games.
Oh yeah, you know what though? That was Chris's first 3 games.
It was. Right? It was full disclaimer.
And 2 of them were much closer than I thought they were going to be. But we'll get there.
Especially the first game.
I know, that shit was funny. Oh, Wolfpack, Nevada.
So, putting nostalgia aside, how are your first few hours in the game?
I have noticed issues. But I haven't gone through all of the game modes the way that I obviously will before this is over with and I make my final judgment call. But the first couple hours was honestly just remembering how to play. I mean, we're going to talk about the games we played, but those were my first 3 games. Those were my first 2 hours back into NCAA since probably like 2017, realistically. So I had to remember the basics of like reading the defenses pre-snap, like changing my plays up, audible and, game clock variation, stuff like that. But, that was, I won't say it was frustrating because we were just dicking off and having fun with it. But after I got past that part, I started to notice the differences in what it used to be versus kind of what it is now and how you do stuff like that. And I don't know, it's like, this is going to sound like a complaint because in 14, you could call a hot route if you had a star receiver lined up against a defensive back that wasn't a star guy, and you just knew, I'm going to know 1 second after I snap this ball whether I've got a 65-yard touchdown or not. You know?
Yes.
And it wasn't automatic. Like, you had to read the play, and you had to watch how the defensive back reacted to the line at the jump at the line. But if you got the jump, you had the ball. And it was just that, like, all right, I just got to wait 2 seconds and then just tap this button and I've got a touchdown. You can't do that shit anymore. And honestly, I shouldn't be complaining about that because that's football. That it's more realistic. Like, you're more times than not, a receiver and a quarterback aren't going to link up for a 60-yard aerial touchdown like they used to in NCAA 10 years ago. So it's not really so much a complaint as it is, I think it was an overcorrection, because I've noticed that when I read that and when I see that, even when I audible into that and call that route myself because I've got the mismatch, my wide receiver will be 2 paces ahead of the defensive back 5 yards out. So I throw the lob pass because there's nobody between the receiver and the end zone, and it's like the defensive back not only recovers, but gets like a 10-point burst of speed for 30 yards and then jumps up and intercepts it when the coverage was already blown. So it was like an overcorrection. So it's like messing you up as you read through the plays and you read through the receivers and you go through your route alignment. That being said, I think the ultimate takeaway there is defensive AI is way too good. Like you can call a coverage or call a formation, and it's like it auto corrects. Even on varsity and All-American mode, I can't imagine Heisman. I played 1 quarter of it, and I was just like, "Nah, fuck this shit. I'll come back to that in like a year when I'm an actual coach, I guess." But that's really my only complaint with it, though. You know, is just having to. It's not really about relearning how to play. It's about having to learn everything new because it's just the defensive stacks just seem so much stronger than they used to be, even on the easier game modes.
I have a problem with the difficulty overall. That's probably my biggest complaint about the game. A lot of times it makes it fucking unenjoyable, to be honest with you. The AI with the defense, it's weird because your defense fucking sucks.
Mm-hmm.
But the computer's defense is fucking fantastic. Like, I'm playing as Georgia, and I'm going up against Clemson. And, I mean, okay, I know I'm a huge Georgia fan. I mean, I'm wearing a fucking Georgia hat and all like that. So this is not me being biased or anything like that, but their defense is fucking really good. They're supposed to be really good in the game, okay? And the quarterback that they're going up against with Clemson, not very good, okay? He should not be 20 for 21 in that game where I cannot fucking stop his quarterback. Like,
no.
That to me is a problem.
Yeah. No, I agree. And it's every position on the defense it seems like the AI gets a boost. Like I've noticed just in exhibition games, I've got a half a second in the pocket if I'm playing with a team that has a veteran offensive line, right? Those defensive linemen, I could be playing as LSU going up against FCAAU Institute of Shitty Technology or some bullshit like that. And their defensive linemen and linebackers are going to steamroll my SEC offensive line. But then I get on defense, and it's like I'm getting Michael Lord out of the stadium every time I try to, like. So I don't know. It's just the swing needs to be corrected.
It does. That is my biggest complaint of the game right now. It's just totally uneven.
It is like it's like varsity and Heisman. No, not Heisman. No, Heisman's its own fucking animal. But like varsity and All-American, there's no difference. I've played them both just to see how much harder it is. It's not even a change in difficulty setting. I haven't tried freshman. I'm assuming that one if Heisman is that much harder, I'm assuming freshman is that much easier. But the two in the middle, there just needs to be a spacing of sorts.
Exactly. Just make varsity a little bit easier, make All-American, keep it the fucking same. Don't make that more difficult.
Make it a little bit easier too. All right. Not as easy as varsity.
It's just like I said, I have that. That's my biggest complaint of the game is the fact that it feels like the computer is just so much better than you, but it doesn't come back in reverse. So we'll talk about one of our games that we played, the Michigan versus Miami game.
Sure,
now
you
the
want
way
to talk
that we
about that one. But it is relevant to the story. That's fine.
It is. This is why I bring it up. So Michigan's defense in that game is not as good as Georgia's. Okay? And I keep bringing up Georgia, but I'm going to make a point here. It's not as good. Number-wise, like overall defense-wise, it is not as good as Georgia's if you compare it to the number scale. But Michigan, and also not the best team in the game either, Michigan. But that was the best game that I've played. That defense was the best defense I have played with. But it is not as good as Georgia. And you go to Georgia and they're throwing all over the field. I can't fucking stop them and shit like that. But when it comes to Michigan's defense, it's like, we're playing pretty fucking good. So I know they're giving us overall numbers of what the defenses are and how good they are, but it's not translating to the game very well.
No, it's because of the tilt, right? So when we decided that game, this was the second game we played, and the first one, we had two teams that were pretty much down the stat line the same. They were like, 79 overall. They were shitty, but the offense was like an 80 and the defense was like a 78. They were as perfectly matched as it could have been. But when we did the Michigan-Miami game, they're both 89 overalls, but Michigan's offense was like an 82 and their defense was like a 91 or something like that, and Miami was the inverse. So yes. Their offense was like a 90 or a 91, and their defense was like an 82. So we thought, well, this will be kind of cool. We'll just see, powerhouse offense against a powerhouse defense. But the tilt that I have no way to prove, but just other than the eye test from what I've seen so far, it seems a 90 on defense is probably about equivalent to like an 85 on offense. It's just like the defensive statistics are just weighted so much more heavily. Because like we played 2 3/4 of a game, and then Primo had to get off right as I was coming back with LSU against Georgia, but that's neither here nor there. And
do you want to mention the score of the Michigan game?
No, because we're talking about why that was bullshit. But so like I couldn't run the ball, I couldn't pass the ball, and of course this was my second game in 12 years. I did do some stupid things, but like I feel like even at my prime, there were certain decisions that I was making on offense that were just the right thing to do seemingly in the moment, but you just couldn't do shit about what happened, So it's I don't know. I just think overall the defensive skew is a lot shittier than the offensive skew.
Yeah, and you could be playing with a great offense, and then you have a fucking shitty ass defense that you're playing against, and they're still fucking whooping your ass. And it's like, what the fuck, man? Like, give me the same benefit you're giving to the computer. That's all. If you want to make the defense really fucking great across the board and make it a little bit more difficult to score, which I don't think that's what. I know they say they want the game to be realistic and all that, but at the end of the day, it's an arcade-like game, so they want you to score. Personal opinion, anyways. If they want that defense to be so fucking good, then let my defense be good too. Make it even. But that's not the case. It's not the case. My defense gets torn to shreds every single time. And I'm not just talking about Georgia. I'm talking about any of the teams that I've played so far. Like I played as Kennesaw State. I have one dynasty set up with that. So I'm trying to do 0 to hero kind of thing, taking them all the way to the national championship, right? And I'm playing against a fucking nobody team. I don't even remember. It was like Akron or something like that. Like the team was right around what my level is, right? And I am fucking struggling to beat this motherfucker.
Yeah. Well, momentum is a huge thing too. I've noticed in like Road to Glory, momentum is a huge thing. because I'm playing with a quarterback right now. I'm doing Road to Glory. I'm not doing Dynasty yet, so I'm not on defense when I do that. I literally just the snaps I'm on the field or the snaps that I see. But if it seems like if I score, I get the turnover and I get a ball back. But if I throw a pick or whatever, and today actually I threw a pick 6 earlier this morning. I was like, oh shit, there it goes. Next thing you know, the momentum swing, it was a road game, which is another thing we need to talk about. But the momentum swing, I'm going into the third quarter, I'm down 28 to like 11. I was like, holy shit, how did this even happen? And I don't know. They take real life shit like that into account, which I do like, but I think it's kind of just like the defensive skew. I think it was an overcorrection.
Speaking of which, there's adaptive AI in this game, allegedly, where if you run like the same play multiple times, the defense will key in on that and will be able to stop you. I've noticed, I don't know if you've noticed this too, in like the first quarter, I will be on offense, I will be shredding them. I will be doing so fucking good on offense. And then as soon as that second quarter hits, it's like I can't score worth shit. I start throwing interceptions. And if it didn't happen in a lot of games, like more than just like 3 games that I played, I probably wouldn't have thought about it. But it's just like, wow, how did I go from throwing like 80 or 90 yards in the first quarter with no incompletions, and I'm just walking up and down the field, to go from that to throwing 3 interceptions in the next 2 quarters? How does that fucking happen? So I don't know if you've noticed that.
It's not something that I called out beforehand, but when you said it, there was a moment where I was like, that actually makes a few things that I've seen make sense, And I honestly, like, there are certain sets that I run out of a lot just because I like what you can do with the variations of the receivers, because that's just how I play the game. I mean, I haven't spent the time to make my own playbook and design my own plays, which I really just need to spend 2 hours and do that, because I feel like moving forward it would make my life so much easier. But I like to just call my shit at the line. I'll look and see what defense I think I'm going against, and I'll try to like test a line shift and see if I've got a blitzer or anything like that before I run my hot routes and my receivers. So I run the same formations a lot just because it's easy to know where that receiver is going to be going once I tell him, But as far as overcorrecting the same play, I can't really do that much in this game. Like in NCAA 14, if you're down by 2 scores, you just run 4 verticals, hit triangle, get back to the line, run 4 verticals, and somebody's going to be open, and you're going to keep scoring, and you can come back and win. You're not doing that shit in this one.
No.
So the adaptive AI makes sense. I mean, if you run 4 verticals and you hit triangle and get back to the line, whoever you just threw it to, they ain't going to be open next time you snap the ball.
No. I mean, I'm all about realism and stuff like that, but
yeah,
it just seems like it's skewed.
I don't really have an issue with the adaptive AI part of it, because that's football. I mean, if you're playing against a defensive coordinator and he sees you do something, fool me once, shame on me, but you're probably not going to get him twice in a row with the same thing. But it just, the statistical skew is my issue. Because like I said, a 90 on defense is not a 90 on offense. A 90 on defense is like an 85 or 84 on offense.
So you mentioned it a second ago, the home field advantage. It's fucking legit.
It is. Yeah.
It's fucking legit. I know they had talked about home field advantage being a key part of the game. You don't fucking know until you play it, okay? And there's a lot of people out there, and I won't call them by names, but they know who they are, okay? Because we've had this conversation in text. Difficulty and home field advantage are fucking legit in this game. The game is way more difficult than the previous game. You actually have to read defenses, like you said, and read the offense. You actually have to go through all that. It doesn't matter if you played 14 every single day up until this game got released. There's difficulty. Okay, this game is not fucking easy. And then on the flip side of that, the home field advantage, it gives you an advantage. It's kind of crazy how much of an advantage it gives you if you're on the home team.
It's gonna have to be nerfed for online play.
You
at
think?
some point. I don't, other than when we just played as friends the other day, I've never actually got into an online match and played somebody random, so I'm assuming it's probably not as heavily weighted as it is in like regular exhibition, because it just wouldn't be fair. I mean, it's not that it makes parts of it unplayable. You can survive it, but I mean, it's like it's the equivalent of a Western duel, and one guy's got a revolver and the other guy's got an unloaded musket. You know, I mean, so I don't know. It is. It's not unplayable, but it's fucking aggravating sometimes when you're trying to tell your running back who's 4 feet to your right when you're in a shotgun spread offense to go left instead of go right, and he looks at you with a question mark over his head like, huh? What'd you say? Like, but then on the flip side of the ball, if you are the home team and you're running in trips, you can tell your outside receiver to do literally the dead opposite of what he's supposed to do, and he hears you fine. I mean, it's just, it at a certain point, it takes the skill out of it and is just, here you go. Have this one, you know?
I don't have too much of an issue with that. Like, the squiggly play art and shit like that before the play, like, I'm fine with that. It didn't really affect me much in 14 because I had my own playbook and I just knew my plays by fucking heart at that point. So I just knew where everybody was going to be anyways. This game, the issue that I have is, and it's not realistic. And with the crowd noise and them not being able to hear you, okay, if we want to do that, that's fine. I can understand it because it gets fucking loud, and that's the way the game can make it more difficult for you with home field advantage, and I get that. My issue is you go up to the line, and you can't even see the button to press for one of your players. And I'm not talking about before the play. Yes, it does before the play, and 14 had that too, where you couldn't really see who you were throwing to beforehand. But again, you just knew the play, so you just knew automatically what the button was.
Right.
The play starts, and it still has it question marked where you can't throw it to that receiver. That, to me, is not realistic.
No, that's dumb. I've thought that too. Yeah, you should still, as long as you guess the button right, you should still be able to throw it.
Yeah.
It's like you said, home field advantage is not going to just paralyze your quarterback where he can't throw the ball. It might make him make a bad decision and throw it to the wrong place, but you're right, he just like slumps back in the pocket and just waits to get broken in half.
Because it was Georgia versus LSU. We were at Tiger Stadium, and I was telling you, I was like, dude, I'm trying to throw it to the square receiver, and he's not fucking throwing it. And then I'm on the run, trying to run away from him, and then he fucking throws it. I'm like, what the fuck, man?
Right. It's annoying.
That to me,
yeah.
That to me is just not. They need to fix that. That to me is not realistic. But I'm gonna keep playing it. It's still a great game. I'm still loving it, liking it. Change my opinion on that for a minute. I rage quit it the other night, dude. I was playing against Clemson, and I had briefly talked to you about this before we started. They were up 28-7 on me. Georgia versus Clemson. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I came all the way back, and I ended up losing like 28-21. But it's just the difficulty spikes. It's just I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a person that knows how to fix games or anything like that. They just need to fix it. Fix it.
Yeah. They need to center it better. Like, if you're not going to fix it, then they need to go on the flip side of the ball and give overall offensive ratings whatever imaginary boost the defensive ratings got. But you know what? I'm just going to keep playing it because I told myself I'm so hyped for this, and as long as it's not a carbon copy of Madden, and as long as somebody can't use one quarterback receiver combo to beat me every time I play them, I'm going to love it. And I got those two things.
All right, guys. Let's talk about our most anticipated games for the rest of 2024. I struggled to find a handful of games. So we're not going to be talking about every single game that we're excited to play. So we're each going to come up one or two or three, whatever, and talk about some of the games that we are excited about.
Ain't going to be no or three. Chris found 2, and I had to work for that second one. All right.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you got it wrong. I only have 2.
Yes.
There's no honorable mention.
No.
Christian, what would be one of your games that you are looking forward to the most the rest of the year?
I would probably say Assassin's Creed Shadows because I just enjoy Assassin's Creed.
I have 1.
Sorry, sir.
No, you're good. You're good.
Took that from you. I mean, we've talked about it on the podcast before. It's it's gonna be another. Hey, I'm gonna kill you. Yeah, but I'm always also there for the whatchamacallit, the scenery. I guess is the best way to say it.
Japan.
Sure enough.
Yes.
There's been a lot of I don't know. I've only seen it on like Twitter. It's like controversy with the samurai, the Black Samurai storyline or some shit like that.
Yeah,
like,
I don't know why they're all butthurt about it, but it's
like I saw it
accurate. Like I don't know what you want from me.
I think that was the issue. I think they said it's not historical, but at the same time, it's like this is a game, dude. This is a game. Come on.
But at the same time, it is. So,
but at the same time, it's just a game. Can we take some
I agree 100% with you. 100%. It's just a game. They can go somewhere with their shit quickly.
So yeah, I didn't seem too interested in figuring out what the controversy was
it's all.
I didn't know it was a thing until you said it. So
yeah, that's all.
I've only seen it on Twitter.
I've seen it on some on TikTok, but other than that was it. And then my other one's going to have to be Star Wars Outlaws.
Oh, okay.
Just because I mean it looks good, but then it's expensive as shit. So,
Chris, is this your game? Your last game?
No.
Okay, good.
Y'all could probably honestly go for days. You wouldn't get my second one. Assassin's Creed was the obvious one, but I had to dig deep to find one that I was like, nobody could find this one, probably.
Shout out.
Probably. That's every time I have to pee.
That's right.
Star Wars Outlaws. This looks like the greatest 6 out of 10 game I've ever seen. I watched some gameplay last night, a trailer of sorts for this Outlaws game, and I'm like, damn, it looks pretty good. And then it got to the actual gameplay of the game, and I was like, wow, this 100% looks like something I would not be interested in playing. It is the first open world Star Wars game, and yet you don't give us anything fun to do in this open world Star Wars game because the stealth aspect of it just doesn't look fun. Like you have like some kind of animal that follows along with you, and like he helps you take down enemies or some shit, and I'm just like, oh my god, this looks fucking stupid. I mean, I could be wrong. This could be the greatest game of all time. It's not going to be, but it could be. To me, it looks like a very, very great 6 out of 10.
Is it? This might be a stupid question. Is it open world or open universe? Are you literally on the same planet the whole time?
No.
Okay, I was going to say, that's not Star Wars, that's Star War. That sounds dumb.
So, from what I've read, there are, I think, like 5 or 6 planets. I could be wrong, but there's like 2 of those planets. You can use a speed bike, and you could get across the entire planet in like under 5 minutes.
That's a moon, sir. That's not a planet. They've lied.
They lied.
He's not wrong.
So, really, if we're being honest, it's only like 2 planets.
That's King Yami's home. That's what that is.
King Yami's home.
Jeez.
Yes.
I'd play that game.
I'd play that game all day.
All fucking day.
That sounds like a 9 out of 10.
Fuck you, Goku. I'm faster.
Fast as fuck, boy.
But yeah, dude, I want to really like that game, but from everything that I've seen, I don't feel like I'm gonna like it at all. So it's probably gonna be a skip unless I read a review that says this is the greatest Star Wars game of all time and it is a 9.5 out of 10. That's kind of where it has to be for me. It has to be like a 9.5 in order for me to fucking play this game.
Touché.
I don't know if that's fair.
I mean, that was in my defense. That was only like the only 2 games that would be even worth even looking at right now.
Oh no, sir! This is not an attack. Trust me, we all struggled with this. I was looking at this list. I was like, nope, not in a million years. Nope. Thank God this year's halfway over.
Yeah, right. You ain't never lied.
Chris, what is your one game?
Well, I will backtrack to Shadows for 1 second because I will say, when this first got announced and I first watched the release, I was like, man, that looks pretty good. Sounds like Assassin's Creed's coming, kind of digging themselves out of the hole I feel like they've been in for the last 2 or 3 installments, and I'll probably be interested in this one. But every single time I watch gameplay of it, or every single time I watch a new trailer release, or even a trailer that I've already seen 3 or 4 times at this point, I just get more and more hyped for it. Like, the list is short for this year, but that one in particular, I couldn't be more stoked about. You know, I cannot wait. I'm going to play the shit out of it day one. It's going to be pre-ordered and waiting on me when I get home from work. I am absolutely pumped. So to have a gold star on the top of a, like, dead Christmas tree, I feel like Assassin's Creed is probably the prime one for me anyway. But there is one more, and I don't know if you guys have ever played this. It's a full HD Switch remake of a 1993 Square Enix game called Romancing Saga 2: Revenge of the Seven.
Heard of it.
Why does that sound like a dating sim?
No, it's not. It's more in the realm of, it does sound like that, yes. Sounds like an anime I'd watch, if we're being honest.
That's fair. I can't argue this.
No, it's kind of in the vein of Final Fantasy, except it's more like medieval fantasy rather than like, Final Fantasy, I guess. There's not as many races and stuff like there are in Final Fantasy. It's more like kingdoms and shit. But it's turn-based combat, but the main difference is decisions you make throughout the game are going to impact how the game ends and how you progress through the game. Whereas in Final Fantasy, regardless of party build-up, you're going on a linear quest, and when you get to the end, the story is going to be the same.
You have my attention so far.
It looks real good, man. And the HD remake, I never played it, obviously, because it came out in 93. But if I were the age that I am in 93, and that was the best available to me, I would have probably played the ever-loving shit out of it. So I'm going to play the remake, because it's only going to be $40 when it releases in October. For Switch, that's mega cheap. So
right. You
mega cheap.
Yeah.
You wait fucking long.
You give me something that I can play on the go. You give me turn-based combat. You give me a 34, 40-hour story. I'm there for that.
That's fair.
Wow. You dug deep for that one.
Right.
Had to.
Shout out?
So I'm excited for Shadows. I'm excited for that. Black Myth, Wukong, we've talked about that on the podcast. I need to see reviews before I'm ever going to get excited about that. Outlaws, I mean, it's a game. Silent Hill 2.
It's a game.
It's a game.
It is, in fact, playable. Yes.
Yes. You're not wrong, sir.
Silent Hill 2, I need to see reviews on it, so I'm not getting hyped for that until I see the reviews. So the 2 games I'd pick, The Legend of Zelda, Echoes of Wisdom. Mm-hmm. I'm so fucking ready to play a Zelda in a Legend of Zelda game. Fuck you.
Meh.
And apparently, word on the street is you can play as both in this game.
Oh.
It's not just Zelda.
You have my attention.
So
now you have my attention.
Indeed. You have my attention.
So I don't know I don't know. I'm excited to play as Zelda. Regardless of how much that is, remains to be seen. Am I excited to play fucking 20 hours of a Zelda game as Zelda? I don't know. Time will tell. But in terms of the way it looks, the graphical style, and just the kind of story that it's kind of leading with Link kind of being fucking kidnapped or some shit like that, disappearing. I'm down for it, and I'm gonna play the shit out of it when it comes out on September 26th. And I'm debating on whether I want to save it for our Japan trip and play it on the airplane or not. Otherwise, I'd have to wait like a month and a half. I don't know if I want to do that.
I mean, that's totally fair. I can understand that, but I still could not like wait for it because I still want to play it. Just saying.
My thing is, like, I still need to go back to it. I haven't fucking had time. Tears of the Kingdom. I haven't beaten that yet, but I fucking love that. That is the best version of Breath of the Wild, for sure.
Right.
But I'm very excited to go back to more of the old school Legend of Zelda, where it's not really open world. You know, it's kind of more of a linear aspect to it. I don't know. Like I really digged. Was it Link's Awakening that came out on the Switch a few years ago?
Right. Yeah, I dig that too. It was one of my favorites.
Yeah, like that version was so good, and they played the fucking theme song like nonstop, and I was completely okay with that. I
was too. You're right.
I hope it's not a trap, though.
I hope it's not. It's a trap.
What you mean?
I'm just saying, like I've said that in the past. Like, I can't wait to kind of take a step back for like a particular series or whatever, and kind of let them get back to their roots, I guess, if you will. Just for nostalgia purposes and easier playthroughs. Right. At the same time, it's like, I don't know that I could do that with Tears of the Kingdom, though. Like, I would have to go into it just not pretending that it's not a Zelda game, but very, very, very temperate of my expectations after playing Tears of the Kingdom.
Well, I mean, nothing's really going to top. I don't know how you ever top Tears of the Kingdom.
Well, of course you're not going to. That's not my point. That just goes almost without saying. But it's just like, Tears of the Kingdom was so good. How do I even take a step back in that universe as far as playability? I don't know. Again, this is just me setting myself up to not be super disappointed, I guess. But at the same time, it's just like, I don't know. I'd be nervous.
I mean, I understand your thought process on that, but they really did really well when they remade Link's Awakening. And that art style just hooked me instantly. Like, instantly. I mean, they did add a bunch of new things to the game. I mean, stuff if you haven't played the game multiple times, because, you know, back in the day, shit, I played that Game Boy fucking a lot, you know? And so to have that nostalgia and then to go back to it and have a whole kind of different game, I like it. And I like it even more the fact that there's not just Zelda, because, you know, if I'm playing, let's be honest, if I'm playing Legend of Zelda, I want to play as Link. It's no ifs, ands, or buts. I'm not like Matt. Sorry.
Well, it's not that I want. I'm not saying I want an entire game as Zelda.
Right.
Like when we discussed Tears of the Kingdom, there was speculation that we might play as Zelda in that game, and I'm like, fuck yeah! Like give me something different. That's really what I want. I don't want to play. I think Tears of the Kingdom was different enough from Breath of the Wild,
right,
to satisfy that itch for a few years for another Zelda game to come out. And I mean that in terms of like nobody wants to play the same game twice, you know?
I agree. So
that's my thing. I'm not necessarily saying I want to play as Zelda the entire game, and especially if her gameplay is actually really good, then that's going to hook me. So it's really going to depend on what she actually is able to do in the game. But I need something different to kind of. And that's why I like going from Tears of the Kingdom to this Echoes of Wisdom style, and then whatever they decide to do past that point, I think that's good. It's not like we're doing. I don't even know what game I want to fucking throw out there. Like if you throw out a Pokemon game, for the most part, the Pokemon game is going to be the fucking same thing every single time. Like all they do is just change the story and change the Pokemon that you throw in there. Nothing else changes about it, and that's why Pokemon has gotten stale up until they released what the fuck was that open world game? Yeah, Arceus Legends. Up until they released that, the series was fucking stale. But they gave us something different. So that's the only thing that I'm really excited about with this game. It's just going to give us something different.
And I could definitely just say the Mary Jane and Spider-Man. That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah.
You get what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
You get what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
Like, why is this in the game? I don't want this in the game.
Well, like I said, it's going to depend on the gameplay for her.
I agree.
How interesting that is for the game. Because Mary Jane, I fucking hated those levels in fucking Spider-Man. That is the worst part of the entire game.
I'm here to play as Spider-Man, not Mary Jane. But it's the same thing with Zelda. I'm here to play as Link. Now, I'm not going to not try it. Don't get me wrong. But you get what I'm getting at?
But let's be fair here. I think Mary Jane's gameplay in 2 was much better than 1.
Oh God, yes, it was so much better than 1. But
so let's be fair there. But still, it kills momentum when you go play as Mary Jane. I'm like, I just want to go through. I just want to web swing, man. Like, what the fuck?
I want to play as fucking Venom. Let's go.
Like, I want to have a fight where I don't get killed in 2 shots.
That's fair. That's so fair.
That bad, huh?
It was, yeah.
You legitimately they let you hit they hit you twice as Mary Jane, and you have to start over.
Yep.
And then the last game that has tickled my fancy a little bit, and that is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Mutants Unleashed. Comes out October 18th. It is in the same kind of art style as the Mutants, Mutant Mayhem movie that came out last year, which was pretty good. It's a third-person action platformer. Kind of gives me like Spyro vibes to it a little bit, which I don't think that's a complaint. I think that's a good thing. And each character gives you a different style of gameplay, which intrigues me. It's only the one trailer out that I've seen, so not a ton of stuff that it actually revealed. But with the art style plus kind of the I don't want to say minimalistic style gameplay, but like more kid friendly, I guess. Like, I'm interested in it. I mean, I don't know how great of a game it's going to be, but I will play a Ninja Turtles game. Like, it's like, if you say, hey, we're releasing a Ninja Turtles game coming out this year, I'm going to fucking play it. Like, I don't even give a shit.
That's fair.
All right, yeah, sure. I respect that.
Right? I mean, I'm not saying it's going to be good, but
I don't know. The Rita's Revenge, now that you've said Power Rangers, I knew that's coming out this year. Power Rangers, Rita's Rewind, I'm sorry. Rita's Rewind.
Which one is that?
That's the new side-scrolling Power Rangers game.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
OG Power Rangers. Yes.
I'm ready for that.
That's kind of like in the same vein as Shredder's Revenge.
Yep, Shrink Show McCoke. Oh.
Shredder's Revenge was great. That was a great game.
I still have it. Indeed.
Yeah, I mean, I would judge you if you got rid of it.
Yeah, that would be fucking rude.
I haven't played the DLC for that game, though.
I have not either. And probably
so I guess when I say I'd play any Ninja Turtles game, I guess I don't really mean that.
I guess you're a dirty liar.
I'm a fucking fraud.
Oh.
Patronage canceled. The truth has surfaced.
Canceled.
Indeed.
But yeah, guys, let us know down in the comments below what your most anticipated game for the rest of 2024. If we didn't mention it, just drop us a comment below. Let us know what game we need to be on the lookout for. But let's go ahead and close out this episode with our weekly recommendation. Christian, what do you recommend to the fine people out there?
I'm going to recommend The Last Descendant. Is literally a mix between Destiny and Division. Not more Destiny than Division.
You got my attention.
The graphics, amazing. Audio, amazing. The missions are kind of open world within reason, and you can jump into mission or you can run it solo. So, like, they could be in mid-mission, you jump in, start helping them, you still get rewards. So you don't have to like wait for the beginning of another mission. They have enemies that are out and about in the wild that you can fight. You have multiple different characters. You have up to 14 characters. They all have different skills. You have to unlock them, unfortunately. So you have like the only 3 you have right now are a soldier, which is your DPS, a tank, a mage, which is also your debuffer. You got 4 skills, a melee. You get guns out the ass. They all have, different abilities. You can add more abilities to them using your descendant program / whatchamacallit, enhancements. So you level up your gun as well as your enhancements to do more damage. You can put up to 8 enhancements on each gun, and then you have the other stuff that you had, like in Destiny, you had different stuff. So right here you have reactors. They increase your damage between your skills, your weapons, other enhancements, gives you more XP, more shield, more DPS, the whole 9 yards. And you can mix and match to your playstyle to increase if you want to solo stuff by yourself, you can do that. Or you want to be a team player, you can do that. They kick people out if you're just sitting there. So you don't have those bums that just ride it out. So they'll fucking kick those people out real quick, which is really nice.
Sounds pretty dope, honestly, everything you just said.
Like I said, the visuals, the graphics are fantastic. Oh, Vesa is they designed her well, sir. Real well.
Real well. Like I can't stress enough how well they designed
it's
her.
Hourglass look, as you know what I'm saying?
Oh, you have my intrigue.
So when you run, you can see, assets. Just saying.
Hey, that's a very underrated aspect of video games. I just want y'all to know that.
They do have cosmetics on here that you can change costumes for certain people, and they're fantastic. The shooting's fine. It's actually pretty spot on. There's no like lag or anything like that, so combat is fantastic. The only downside I have to a lot of it is the range of certain skills. Like if I throw an ice spear at somebody, I expect that fucking ice spear to hit somebody, no matter how the distance. It stops after a while and aggravates the fuck out of it.
So not full Night King in season 7 then?
Yeah, no. But
all right,
like this, the one I'm playing as obviously the fantastic ice mage, and I have a skill that I can make the ground ice everywhere I walk and freeze everybody in place. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Sounds OP.
Absolutely.
But sounds pretty sweet.
It is. But yeah, I love this game. This game is fantastic. I've probably only played maybe 45 minutes of it, and it's already has me hooked. I didn't want to play it because I was playing DayZ, but now that I'm playing it, I probably won't play DayZ.
And I'm done playing DayZ.
Replaced.
Indeed. But it's fun. It's free for on Xbox, PlayStation, PC. So there's no excuse not to play it.
Might do a little download and then check it out.
Indeed.
Yes, indeed.
Chris, what is your recommendation?
So Christian and I actually both talked about it in our watch list, but I'm going to recommend Tsukimichi Moonlit Fantasy. There are 2 seasons dubbed, and it is just such a good show to be as underrated as it apparently is, to be honest with you. It's like, if I could combine the plots of 2 shows, it would probably be like 40% fairy tale and 60% that time I got reincarnated as a slime.
Yep.
If I had to guess, there's elements to every genre of anime that you could possibly want, from, just adventure, fantasy, isekai, comedy, drama.
Oh, it's funny as shit.
It borderlines on romance, but in a funny way, not in a waste your time building something up for 3 episodes and it never happened kind of way. All in all, great show. Absolutely loved it. I think, Christian, correct me if I'm wrong, there are 25 episodes each, so there's probably 50 dubbed episodes up now.
Yep. And fight scenes are fantastically animated.
Right. They definitely are. Like I tell you, there's really not, usually even the best anime that I've seen, I can pick something out that I'm like, well, that's a problem. They shouldn't have done that. I have no complaints with Moonlit Fantasy at all.
Nope. Nice. And he's like you said earlier, like he's OP'd to an extent, but he's not.
Right. Like he has limits. He just has to figure out how to cheat around them, which makes it better to me. Like he's literally not just like a a god character. I mean,
my favorite scene still to this time is almost the end of season 1 when he gets all fucking serious about that chick.
Yep.
After she murdered all them fucking dudes, bro. That side of him, he's come out more.
Yeah. Yes, I forgot about that one scene. 5% eminence in shadow.
There it
is. There it is. There it is.
That dude's savage.
Yeah. Such a good show, though. Definitely recommend.
So I'm not going to do the easy thing and recommend College Football 25. I mean, y'all heard us talk about it for 40 minutes. So if you're going to play it at this point, you're going to play it. If not, you're not going to play it.
We're not going to talk you into it.
Exactly. Right. So I'm not going to recommend that. I'm actually going to recommend 2 things, and it's for 2 different types of people and what you want out of a movie. Twisters and Long Legs. If you are in the mood for like a blockbuster for the summer and you just want a fun time, go see Twisters. If you are into horror movies, not necessarily slow burns, but like procedural detective style horror movies, then you need to go see Long Legs. Nicolas Cage puts on probably one of my favorite performances of his in this entire movie. It is just unhinged, full Nick Cage, and it is just absolutely chef's kiss, fantastic. So I'm gonna cheat a little bit and recommend 2 things, but it's for 2 different types of people. Either way you go, worth seeing in theaters.
I'll allow it. Helpful recommendations.
But guys, that is going to be it from us. We will catch y'all next time on another episode. Later,
guys.